press record, and we're just going to go ahead and dive right into this. So Olivia, can you explain what your role is over at Senior Benefit Services?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me this afternoon. Super excited about this topic. Definitely something I'm extremely passionate about.
Great.
So my role at Senior Benefit Services, I'm our Director of Growth and Agency Development. So really, I wear two hats. One, the reason why we're talking today is I'm in charge of our recruiting. So oversee all recruiting at Senior Benefit Services, primarily focused on hiring agents. That's both 1099, people that are LOA, going out there, building a business underneath our franchise, and then also W-2 agents that work on our payroll, base pay, going out, servicing clients, working really more so underneath as a traditional employee, I would say.
Yeah, so you work with a wide range. You're not just hiring one type. You're working with a wide range of people.
Exactly.
Cool.
Exactly.
Whenever you go out and you're recruiting, are you looking for specific, like today I want to see, or like at these events we want to recruit W-2, at these events we want to recruit 1099, or is that something that whenever you go out and you meet the people and it just kind of works out however it works out?
It just works out how it works out, right? You know, I really think that a lot of people out there just don't know exactly what they're looking for until they hear about it.
Sure.
And I think that's exactly what the insurance industry is. A lot of people don't know or dream of growing up to be an insurance agent, but when they hear about the opportunity, they're hooked in some sort of way. So we just go out and look for great people and then figure out where their right place is. You know, it's just about finding that right seat on the bus.
Yeah.
That might be a 1099 opportunity. That might be a W-2 opportunity, but that's what we do is we sit down and get to know people and figure out how can they really fit with us.
Love it. So let's kind of dive into some of these questions that we have. First, let's talk about these sorts of agents, the recruits that you're looking for. So whenever you guys go out, I know that we live in a college town here. And also, I don't know if we have explained this. I don't think we have. So Senior Marketing Specialist and Senior Benefit Services are sister companies. We fall under the same umbrella of McNerney Management Group, but we are two different companies. One's an FMO side, one is a captive agency. And so, of course, we're the FMO, Senior Marketing Specialist, and Olivia works for that captive agency side. But we live in a college town. This is where McNerney Management Group is. And so I know a lot of times you're doing like college fairs and stuff like that, but can you tell us about the age range and maybe how different recruiting might be based on like whatever ages it is?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have always really kind of been proud that we've been able to go out and hire young, dynamic individuals and really get them started in the insurance business. That's something that we've been so excited and passionate about. I just ran the numbers actually this morning, and right now, the average age of one of our agents working at SBS is 39 years young.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So
awesome. So that means you have like a pretty diverse range.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we've got people that are just getting started in their career for the very first time, but we also have a lot of people that go out, have a full-blown career, and then they decide, you know, hey, I'm at a point in my life where I want to do something for myself. I want to build something for myself. And so we get a lot of people that have that second chapter, that second career, really.
Sure. Yeah, that's awesome. So college kids, obviously you're doing college fairs and all that sorts of stuff for those people in that sort of category where this is like their second job, or they're just like looking for something a little bit later in life. They're not fresh off with a degree sort of situation. Where are you looking? Is that more like LinkedIn? Is it like, where are you targeting those sorts of people?
Yeah.
Or finding those sorts of people?
For the people that, you know, are a little bit more established in life, right? Like we've got a couple subcategories of that. One, we've got like the 25 to 35-year-old that really has been in a career where they've helped other people, but then it's just not what they thought it was going to be. Right, you know, they may be working 80 hours a week for somebody else. And so we look for a lot of people like that. That's where we're using more of the LinkedIn. Another thing that we do a lot of is working with strategic alliances has put us in connection with more people like that as well.
So like networking sort of thing, your networking partners.
Exactly.
Awesome. Cool. So what are like some examples of some, like, I know like I said, I'm kind of going rogue off some of the questions, but I'm so interested. The sorts of networking partners, are these people like financial planners, or like what sort of realm?
All over the board.
Yeah.
I mean, just this year, I got a couple stories that were kind of fun and interesting. One was somebody that was an attorney, right? And they were helping seniors. And so then they were sending all of their business to one of our Medicare agents, right? And so they had somebody else that came walking through their office that, you know, they were just talking and they said, hey, I'm not happy with my career. That got sent over to us and we started that person as an agent.
Awesome.
So ways like that where you're actually building your business and also hiring more people, building your business in two ways. That's so much fun.
Yeah.
But even too, like chamber events,
Right.
you know, anything that's local in your community. We've always just been such a believer of, you know, hey, we want to be involved, invested in our towns and our community. And so it's just rubbing shoulders with those people.
Yeah.
But I'll say this too, really, we see it as a couple ways to get people here. The other thing too is we're just using online a ton.
Yeah.
And so if you look us up, you're going to find us and you're going to go, oh, I saw them here and oh, I found them online. This might be a good fit for me.
Yes, that's absolutely huge. And I'm glad that you said that, because we talk a lot about how important online presence is. We were just talking about it earlier today on the cafe and how important that is for people's businesses. So even just like client wise, but I love how that kind of ties in. It is similar to like finding clients, where it's like the online presence is still important. If they have someone reaching out to them on LinkedIn saying, hey, I have this business, would you like to come work with me? I mean, I'm sure that you guys phrase it much prettier than that, but obviously I'm not the expert here. But you know, having that Facebook page, having that website that's established and showing like, hey, we're real people, we promise. So absolutely love that you talked about that, because that's just an extra layer. That's just another thing that we can tell you guys, this is why you need an online presence. But absolutely love that. So you have a wide range of agents, from like college age all the way up to wherever, a 39 average age. That's awesome. So within the first 6 months or so, obviously we love having people, but we don't make any money at the end of the day if those agents aren't producing, of course. So within like the first 6 months or so, how much success do you see as far as like how many apps they're writing, and what do you think, how do you guys do that? How do you get people to write their first app? How do you train those downline agents?
Yeah, great question. And so I'll start with this really. The average SBS agent, they don't have their insurance license when they come start working for us.
Oh, okay.
And so we help people get their license. So that's what part of our team does. You know, we meet somebody, we go, yep, they're the right fit for us. And then we actually help them get their insurance license. On average, just so you guys know, I know everybody on this has their license, but what we're seeing right now is that somebody can get their license in about 22 hours of study time. That's the average right now.
Awesome.
So
yeah, that's quick.
It is quick.
Yeah.
It is quick.
Yeah.
So they get their license and then we get them going. So we put everybody, so these people, they're green. They don't even know what Medicare is. They maybe have never sold anything in their life.
Yeah.
So what we do is we put them through a new agent school. It's a week-long training program. I know SMS has some really great programs where they have a new agent school very similar to what ours is.
Very similar. Yeah.
And so they go through a program just like that. We do a week of field training and then we tell these people, go sell insurance.
Yeah.
And so really, you know, as an agency owner or somebody that's trying to go from agent to agency owner, really, I mean, just look at it like this. In the beginning, have them get their license on their time. Then you give them a good solid week of training and another solid week of field training, you can get people out in the field.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so really with success rate, I pulled numbers from our last 3 years. About 95% of our agents that we hire write at least one app. Now I know that that's not getting us in the green and getting profits for anybody, but you know,
that's how any new business, that's how anybody new at like sort of sales sorts of positions, like that's how that goes.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it just at least is a good number to go, hey, like 95% of the people we hire at least write one app.
Yeah.
Really our benchmarks are this 35 apps in about 13 weeks. That's where we kind of define as a success point for
Got
us.
it. Okay. Yeah.
And so our agents, about half of them are doing that. And I'll say this too, right? That means the other half may be a little bit slower to start or find their way somewhere else.
Right.
But most of the people that don't make it here with us at SBS, they don't continue in the insurance industry. It just wasn't the right career path.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think that's a really good perspective to have as well, because whenever you're hiring people, you are, especially in a position like this, it takes a lot of hours, a lot of dedication. It takes a lot of heart in this. We talk about, how if sometimes people join this industry and they see like insurance agents that are very successful and they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make $1 million in my first year, whatever. And then it takes them like 2 or 3 years to actually profit. But that's like what it is to own your own business. That's what it is to work for yourself. That's what it is to go out and kind of have a sales position. So I think that's really great that you guys have that perspective of like, obviously this is not going to be something where 100% of the people that go through, and you don't want, you want to weed out, you want to have the people there that are really excited to have that sort of position. But
exactly. I mean, as a business owner, it's just as important to know when you need to stop putting your effort in somebody because it's just not the right fit for them. And it's just having honest conversations. It's having those daily check-ins with those people to figure that out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
When we look down the road with our agents, when we, after somebody's in the business for at least 3 years, they're not going to leave. We know that. If they're there for 3 years, we all know how great the insurance industry is. And so if they get a taste of that, they're going to stay here forever. After 3 years, 57% of our agents are still here and successful.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
So we know at that point, they're going to be in this business for life.
Yeah, that's awesome. So another thing, I guess, while we're talking about, some people say, some people don't, some people have it, some people don't. Are there any sort of traits that you see in people where you're like, oh, I really have an idea of like how well they're going to do through this? Like, what are the similarities and the traits that people have that really thrive? So that way agents, if they're looking to hire downlines or looking to recruit, what should they be looking for in a person?
Yeah, great question. I mean, sales and insurance, it's a learned profession. And so we don't necessarily go out and find people that are always sales pros or insurance pros. It's nice when they are, of course.
Sure.
But really a couple traits that we look for are people that are willing to serve others. The Medicare space especially, you're going out and serving other people. And so we look for that. We also look for 2 other things: people that are hardworking, because, as a business owner, you want them to be maybe not as invested as you, but pretty close. To what you're putting into it. So hardworking individuals. And then the last one is, are they okay with rejection?
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, every interview I do, I ask people the question of, can you tell me about a time that you faced some rejection and how you handled it? And if they answer that question poorly, they may not be a fit for this.
Yeah, that's awesome. Really great stuff. Write that down, people. Write that down. Okay, so let's see. Retention of agents. So I kind of want to talk about how you get people on, so they write the benchmark amount of apps, and you say once they've been here for 3 years, that they're going to stick with it. What are some things that you do with your agents that help retain them to at least get them to that 3 years and beyond?
Yeah, the first thing is every new agent gets a mentor right out the gate. And so that might be you, that might be somebody else in your agency, but they have a mentor. And that mentor, they're that person that they can call in that appointment to clear up anything. Maybe they don't understand the difference between plan F and plan G, especially if they're new in the business. They may not know about a plan F.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
They're there to help them walk through maybe underwriting questions, all of that. but then they're also there to be their support system. So at the end of the day, they're calling and going, hey, how many presentations did you run? Tell me what happened during those presentations. How many calls did you make? What happened on those calls? So they have a mentor there that's to help support and guide them really through that first little bit of their career. But as you all know, this business is ever changing. And so really you're there to mentor them, in my opinion, for life.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You know, I think everybody kind of wants that whenever they go into a job, whether they realize it or not. It's always nice to just have that one point in contact. But I like how you bring up, you know, not only are they having to learn how to work in the insurance industry, how to work a sales job, how to deal with rejection, how to do all this sorts of stuff, but then on top of that, specifically in our industry, it's the ever changingness, the craziness, the chaos of Medicare itself. So they're having to keep up with compliance. They're having to deal with, you know, everybody knows that. That's why they have people like FMO. So I think having that mentor sounds like it would be crucial in order to be successful in this. But yeah, I love that. Absolutely. So is it older agents, or when I say older, I mean people more experienced agents pairing up with some of the younger agents?
Yep, it typically is. And that could be an agent, right, that's been here for 10, 15, 20 years. It could be an agent that's been here for about a year, but has had great success.
Yes. And also has that fresh perspective too. You know, people who have been here for a short amount of time, but have enough to where they are able to guide someone, they have that fresh perspective, especially like with compliance stuff. Yeah, this stuff is a little crazy. And then someone who's been in the industry for a long time, they're like, oh man, I've been there, done that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Some of those holes can kind of get missed. So I absolutely love that. That's great. Let's see. So whenever you are chatting with someone and you're like, okay, love this person, I want to recruit them, I want to get them on our team, what is the main selling point that you have for people who you really want to join your team?
So I have always been a firm believer that there are only 3 things that matter to people when it comes to a career. Okay. First one, we go to work to make money, right? So that's a big one. The other things that people are looking for in careers right now is they want work-life balance. If they want to go pick their kids up from school every day, they want to go on a long weekend to go golfing in Scottsdale, right? You know, people are looking for that work-life balance right now. And the last thing people are looking for is they want to feel good or enjoy their job. So typically all 3 of those things matter to people. It's just a priority. And what I do, Sadie, is I flat out ask people, I tell them these are the 3 things that people look for. Which of these 3 things, rank them for me. Tell me what's most important to you. And then I tell them all of the reasons why insurance industry is the place to get that. So if it's making 6 figures, right? This is the career to do that.
You can do that if you want.
If it's picking up your kids from school every day, we can show you how to do that. If you just need to go home and feel good about the work that you did every day, there's nothing better than paying out a claim. There's nothing better than saving somebody, you know, hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a year.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. And especially, you know, sorts of lately, and some of the compliance has kind of helped, but people are really feeling that with the spam calls, with the ads, with all that sort of stuff. So to know that you're one of the good ones, you know, at the end of the day, you're really helping people kind of combat some of this misinformation. I love that. But also one thing I want to point out is not only do you say, these are the 3 things that we see people want, but you follow up on every single one of them. So that work-life balance, I know, like, we work for the same company, we have that. You have to follow through. If you tell them we have work-life balance, we're totally going to support that, you have to do that. Also, making money, you're like, okay, great. If you want to make that much money, we're here. We got you. We have all the, and, you know, you're willing to put in the time and effort to promise them that. And then also feeling good. Obviously, the nature of this job feels good, but then you even have things in place like mentors, where it's like, okay, not only just the job that you're doing, but the environment that you're in, you can also go home and make sure that you're feeling like you did the best that you could and you got the most out of your day that you could. So, yeah.
I
Absolutely
mean,
love that.
I'll be honest, we're transparent and say, hey, AEP, you're probably not going to have that work-life balance, but
Sure. Yeah, yeah, the rest of the time. And every industry has those busy seasons, but hopefully, they like that first point too where they're making a lot of money. Sometimes it's got to balance out, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. Okay, so this is kind of I guess a bummer, but it doesn't have to be. So if someone decides not to join your team, what do you often see be the reason for that?
Yeah, so I'll speak to the 1099 aspect of it first. And I mean, so our 1099 agents, they're 100% commission. That's it,
Yeah.
right? There's just a lot of people out there that want the reward, but they cannot stomach the risk. And so, unfortunately, that's why I see a lot of people reject this opportunity. Is they just can't stomach, taking a step back, which will eventually be many step forwards in their life. And that's something that, oftentimes I just take real life examples of my colleagues, my friends, and set those numbers in front of them and say, hey, this person felt the same way. Here's what their outcome is now in life.
Yeah.
And so we're super transparent and share those numbers with those people. The other thing too, which is kind of just secondary, I would say, is that, most people don't look at the insurance industry and go, oh my goodness, that is such a glamorous and cool field to be in. Obviously, everybody on this has felt the magic of the insurance industry. I've felt the magic. I know you have felt the magic of what it is. And so a lot of people just don't really think that's something that's going to be cool in their opinion. And I've always told people, hey, you may not think this is glamorous or cool, but I can promise you this has a glamorous and cool lifestyle. And just share true stories about our team members, about things that I've got to do in my life, how I've got to accomplish these goals, how my colleagues have accomplished their goals. So I try to do that really as kind of the main rebuttal.
Yeah.
And, if somebody tells me no, it's the same thing as a prospect. I follow up with them.
Yeah.
I don't know how many agents I've gotten back and said no originally, the timing's not right. And I call them back in 6 months and I say, hey, how's that job going for you? And they're like, I was really just thinking about you.
Yeah.
So
awesome. So following up, I absolutely love that. Also, it kind of goes back, what you're saying, it kind of goes back to how we were talking about it's important as the recruiter to have those expectations set, that it's like, not everybody out here is built like me. Not everybody out here has the skills that I have or willing to work on those sorts of skills. And so having that expectation as the recruiter, where it's like, no's are okay, because that means you don't have, you said, getting the right people on the bus. If it's a no, then it's not, or it's a no for now, which is okay as well. So yeah, that's awesome. Well, those are the questions that I have for you today. Guys, we'll be here for just another minute or so. Go ahead and throw your questions in the questionnaire box if you have any. Otherwise, we will get you guys out of here. Let's see. Janine has a question for us. How long would you say a new sales agent, new to the business, should wait or sell a certain amount before they start recruiting a downline?
I mean, I think that's just, you have to look at your business and go, where are you at? I think it's so important. Timing is everything in this in particular. And so I think you have to really stop and go, hey, do I have the time right now to dedicate to train and help somebody else get off the ground?
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that I see a lot of people in this industry kind of get nervous or hesitant about, whenever you start to go into that growth cycle, you're going to have to take a step back, and potentially your business could take a hit in that first year. It's again, taking a step back to take a step forward.
Right. Yeah. So. Absolutely. All the joys of owning your own business, those fun sorts of things. That's a really great question. Thank you, Janine. Let's see. Should I start an agent as a W-2 and then move to a 1099 when I get 4 or more agents? So what's kind of the process on that?
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's, again, something that you have to look at your agency and kind of make a decision on how you want that to look and how you want that to run.
Yeah.
There's pluses and minuses to both of those, right? A W-2 agent, I always kind of believe, you know, hey, they're on payroll. I can really dictate what their activities look like hour to hour. We didn't talk about this much, but I actually run a call center over at SBS. And so I dictate what agents are doing hour to hour every day.
Yeah.
I also recruit a lot of 1099 agents, and they get kind of more of that freedom and flexibility. But then again, too, right? Maybe not as much financial risk for you as an agency owner.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, you know, they're in that philosophy or that mindset where, hey, you go out, you kind of eat what you kill. And so if they're making sales, then you as the agency owner are making money. And if they're not, then they're not making money and you're not making money. So
Yeah.
it just kind of depends on really where you're at and really what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, absolutely. Really great question. Guys, if you have any more questions, go ahead and throw them in here. Otherwise, we will get out of here. But Olivia, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been really, really fun. We are going to put this recording up on our YouTube page, so please feel free. If you're watching this, you might already be watching the recording. Hello in the future. But or you might be watching this in the follow-up email. Be sure to check that out whenever we send it out. But again, thank you so much. This was really fun. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.